What's up, everybody? We're down here. What property are we at, Joe?
This is Valley Garden Drive in Kansas City, Missouri.
Valley Garden Drive. We're on 7 acres. This is a property that I found. I asked Joe, he's one of my students, to write an offer on it for me, and he did. We're in contract. Actually, what happened here?
A backup offer. So we were second in place. They called about a week later. The first offer, just backed out. And so I called you and they're like, yeah, let's do it.
Right. So basically what happened is we were late. We put an overpriced offer on. Joe stayed on top of them.
For sure.
Calls me up and says, hey, you're in. Are you in? I'm like, yeah, man, let's go. And so this is our first time walking it. We haven't even been inside it. It was actually brought to me by someone else. She ended up saying she wanted it, backed out of that deal. I want it, always wanted it. This is Alex. He's one of my students. He said, I want to see everything you got going on out here. So we're going to walk him. Tyler's working the camera, so let's go in. Joe, show us what's going on.
All right, yeah. I mean, just got the Spanish vibe feel kind of thing here.
Cool thing about this property is we're on 7 acres. What area? I don't even know what area of Missouri I'm in right now, or Kansas City.
Kansas City, Missouri. Where this property is located, it's kind of like right in between touching Lee Summit, Missouri and Raytown, and it's right off of 435. So
Lee Summit's really good. You live there, right?
I live in Lee Summit.
Raytown is okay?
Raytown is okay, blue collar. I mean, yeah.
I always like properties with huge acreage. Yeah. I always feel like you got a lot of exit strategies, but this one's cool. It's got cool vibes going on.
Yeah, it would be kind of cool just to, wake up, come out here and have a nice patio and overlook this front here.
Right.
Sip your cup of coffee in the morning.
You have not been inside this one yet?
I've not been inside other than just this front entrance area.
Look at this lawn right out here. Look at how this is old. This is like an estate.
Oh my God,
you can tell, right?
So this is a large project, which I know is right up your alley.
I love them. Okay, so
down
this is
these original stone walls down here.
Oh, this is awesome. So this is a project gone wrong, meaning that someone gave up, quit. It's too big for them, for somebody else to take over and finish up. They've already cut their sewer lines out, dug them out, which is nice. Kind of got an open floor plan with whatever we want to do on here. So really what I like to do, guys, is whenever I'm walking a house to flip, if this is a flip, we don't know. This is one of those ones that like it's kind of a gamble. I wouldn't ever tell you guys to buy something like this because there is no comp, right? Mm-hmm. Like this is like me guessing, and I like to guess a little bit because worst case scenario, you can rent this thing out for a lot of money. And you could probably do an owner carry or something like that, but I'm guessing 7 acres, close to where you're saying,
Yeah, Lee Summit would be the best place to pull comps from, probably.
Okay, so what's 7 acres in Lee Summit go for?
Well, $90,000 an acre.
Okay, so right there, that puts us at $630,000?
Yeah.
Just in land value?
When Alex and I got here, we were like, I wouldn't know where to start. I was like, well, that's why we're here with Troy,
All right, cool.
Start on something like this.
So usually what I try to do is I walk around it a couple times to kind of get a feel, just what I'm looking at, because I don't know what I'm looking at. You guys don't know what we're looking at, to see, okay, how would I lay this thing out? And half the time I don't know where to start, guys. Yeah. So it's just something that you kind of figure out as you go. One thing I am noticing is they've done a lot of concrete work throughout this property. Like these are all freshly poured within the last, I don't know, I'm guessing year. This is something you'd want to bring a structural engineer in. We've got a lot of room in here. So obviously when I'm looking at stuff, I'm trying to make as much living square footage as possible because that's what you're getting paid on, right, Joe?
That's right.
Living square footage is where the money's at, but flow is also hugely important. What's that? You saw a panel? Yeah, it looks newer actually.
How it flows.
200 amp. Yeah, so we got new electrical. This is a new panel. That's a good thing. They've done some of the stuff that is a pain in the butt. So this type of job is one where I'd also recommend that we walk it with our architect. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just to kind of see what can you do. But I'm guessing all these walls are so strong that you can pretty much do whatever you want. This is basically the only thing that you're dealing with is this beam, that beam. I'm guessing you want to put your kitchen down here, your living room down here, possibly a couple bedrooms if you can. I'm guessing kitchen over in this area. I don't know what they were originally thinking. Then that old fireplace is pretty cool. That would be the living room and area somewhere in there. They probably had to run those lines that way for a reason. This would be a good master right here. Looks like it kind of already was. Yeah, I think this was the master. So I like the way this is sitting right now so far. Just so I could tell you already right now, I would just blow all this stuff open and I would probably bring this wall back here. So this wall right here, back here, so that everything flowed into this bathroom and you got a bigger closet.
Yeah.
There's no point in having this set back here when your window line kind of lines up symmetrical here. I mean, just basically right to here, because that way you're coming into the door from the bathroom and you can put a door right here so that you're walking through your closet and your bathroom, and you got a his and hers, so you could probably divide them in half. Yeah, so this would stay a bedroom exactly the way it is, probably a master suite. We got more stairs up here.
Here's your extra square footage for fun stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't do anything up here.
Yeah?
No.
Let the end buyer decide.
It's just, you're gonna overspend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're gonna be like,
You won't get your
you
ROI
can't
back.
well, this
It's
ain't,
not code.
it's not 7 foot. Okay, so if I was gonna go 7 foot, it's gonna be called living square footage. Here, it's not gonna, just storage. Yeah, I'd probably clean it up a little bit, you know, put the wood back, clean it up, make it look a lot nicer.
Yeah.
I mean, you could drywall it, make it just like a bonus room,
Yeah.
but that's about it. Like that's what it would become, not any bedrooms, just the way it is with drywall and lights and carpet. This is just what it is. $3,000 for carpet, $5,000 for drywall and paint, maybe more, maybe $8,000, probably between $8,000 to $12,000 to do that whole thing up there, something around there. On the cheap side, could go a little bit north of that, depending on who you use. Just let's go back downstairs and see that. That's easy upstairs, that's easy right here. Those are figured out, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think anything more than that.
For the price point you're going to want to sell for, I mean, an extra bedroom would be ideal.
Well, the way I always look at it is, if you could be in that 5 range, 5.3 or 4.3 range, you're going to probably get a lot of your money. I think this is where we want to add the extra
living space,
the extra bedroom. You know, you got a lot of extra space down here. This could also be a bedroom right through here, like a big ass bedroom. How many square foot is this thing, Joe?
So it's just about 5,000 square feet.
I almost want to say it's bigger than that, man. Yeah, well, that's
They may not be counting this room, and definitely not, you know, upstairs.
I mean, this roof looks pretty good. You got a couple cracked tiles.
Yeah.
I try to keep it as is and keep that same feel. I mean, because that looks really cool. You got a lot of stucco work on that. I got a good stucco guy. I might try to make some of that brick disappear and just stucco this part right here. The only thing that I'm thinking, whoever's gonna wanna buy this house is gonna need a garage. That's where there's some money. So there's a lot of things to think about on this one.
Maybe tear down this little, whatever this was, out, you know, like greenhouse or
Well,
whatever.
how are you gonna get to that?
That's a good point. So the house was built in 1930.
1930.
Yeah. What's the oldest house you've ever renovated?
18 something.
Yeah.
The only thing that concerns me about this one is like the grading and like, you know what I mean? Like how loose we are on stuff. Like, is the house stable? That would be a major concern. Well, this is nice.
Big entertaining space.
Yeah, for sure. This is beautiful. You might keep some of those windows in this master area. You might repair the old cool ones on the front of the house, right? But like that's gonna cost you $1,000 at least for just the window. Yeah, I don't think that adds any value having these old cool windows at all. Yeah, it's an odd house for sure.
Here's your extra roof tile.
Yeah, so there you go. That tells you quite a bit about what you got dealing with.
Yeah.
To me, this reeks of like Airbnb.
Yeah.
Like that, and maybe you go 6 bedrooms on that, and maybe you're renting this thing out for $1,200 a night or something like that for people who want to have parties, you know?
Yeah, they wouldn't get any complaints from the neighbors.
You definitely want this.
Yeah, that is cool.
Whenever I'm looking at stuff like this, I'm trying to figure out how much stuff I can delete. Do you know what that means?
Delete?
Yeah, windows. Can I delete them? Can I delete them? Can I delete this door? Can I get rid of it? There's too many doors. There's too many windows in this house. You got a lot of space.
I definitely like all the natural light that you get from all those windows. And so I guess I'm trying to catch up with you on the delete part.
Yeah, well, how much natural light do you need? From a perspective of when I look at deleting windows, I look at, is it gonna save us money? Is it gonna add value? Or is it gonna cost us money? And is it gonna subtract value? If we deleted these windows, we're gonna lose money. These ones we'd probably just wanna repair, try to get some guy who's a window expert out here, have him work on these things. And that's probably gonna be several $1,000s to get these windows back to shape. You gotta probably find an expert, somebody who can go and mess with these things, or you go and measure them out and see what it costs to put a new one. I'm guessing it's gonna be a few $1,000s. I'd almost prefer to do new. In my experience with historical things, they don't care what you do on the inside, it's more about what you do on the outside.
Yeah, it just says at one time it was on the registry. It was on the historical homes in Kansas City.
I mean, this thing is built solid. Is that water pushing through here? I think this is probably, to your point, Joe, a very good time to see a house like this.
Yeah, I always like to tour them after it rains or when it's raining.
But I don't think that's the end of the world.
It's a bonus.
Just tighten up some stuff. For as old as it is, it's not pouring in here. It's raining out there pretty good right now.
Yeah. I have a good foundation guy.
So my question to you guys is, what do you do in this space back here? Is this a wine cellar?
Butler's pantry or something like that.
I think it's a bar or something.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Man cave.
I like that idea. It's got to be something cool and unique for this house. You
Yeah.
talked about exposed brick, Joe?
Yeah.
This is where you leave your exposed brick.
Yeah.
This is
I
where you
agree.
make your exposed brick and you're cool. And you might even run like your pipes on the outside of the walls, like copper pipes or something like that. Something that's your artistic area. This area is where I would say you could clean all this up and then seal it.
Yeah.
And that would all look really cool. Game room, poker room, wine cellar, dungeon. Our next steps are find out if we can do whatever the hell we want to do, Joe,
Okay.
on the inside and on the outside. And then we're going to come back with an architect. So I'm going to hook you up with my guy, Adam Pontier, who's the best inspector in the freaking world. So this is what we're going to always do when we have a property under contract, okay? We lock it down. You guys heard me. Lock it down, and then grind them down, okay? So we're gonna go and hit it. Now we have it under contract. We could say, oh, we're gonna walk. We're gonna go through and give this thing a root canal, and then we're gonna throw everything back at them. You've done this before. You told me this in one of the calls, right?
Yeah.
So then it's just knocking money off, getting bids, and gathering all that information before we go and figure out how much this thing's actually gonna cost to fix it. So next appointment is bring in your inspector, bring in your plumber, bring in your framer, bring in your mechanical engineer, all your trusted trades that see things a lot different than I see things. Because I'm a flipper. I'm a general contractor, I have my general contractor license, but that's not my skill set. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna rely heavily on like my guy Shane. You might have seen that guy in my videos before. He's like one of my trusted guys. It's like, what do you see that I'm not seeing? Where could we put stuff? How are you gonna vent this thing properly? And then we can make some decisions. The architect, what's he seeing? You know what I mean? And then get all the guys who see things differently than the way we see things, like the way you saw that call go yesterday. Like, did you see things differently than the way you see normal life, right? And so the way everybody sees things in terms of like, you see things one way because you work a job, you see things one way because you work a job. The guy who does plumbing for a living sees one things through his lenses. So we want to make all these guys come in so we can see what they're seeing, so then we can come up with a better plan. So this is just kind of looking at it, saying, okay, can I come up with a quick plan? No, I can't, because this is freaking complicated, you know what I mean? The only thing I know for sure is upstairs is staying the way it is, and the master to the right is staying the way it is. Other than that, I'm undecided on everything else.
Okay.
And one thing too that I would advise you guys do whenever you buy a property like this is try to talk to the neighbors. They're gonna tell you every reason why you shouldn't buy this house. We wanna know. This is probably gonna be one of the houses that needs a lot of dirt work. This gives you no value right here.
Yeah.
It also is gonna cost more money to remove.
Gardening.
So I would just take the top level off and just clean it up. You got a bunch of bricks here. This looks like one of those places where people hide in one of those movies that somebody's trying to get out. They're like in the back of that, Now this is a cool space. Can we get access to it?
The only key they had available was for the gate.
It's a specific buyer, like you said. Whoever's buying this house, they want peace and quiet. Maybe they have a business, right? Maybe they got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a lot of money. It's all gonna depend on what the school district is, if they got kids, right?
The school district is excellent. It's Lee Summit.
So that tells me a lot right there, because do you guys have kids? Joe, you got kids?
Yeah, I've got 3 kids.
Alex, you got kids? Did you guys pay attention to where you went to school?
Yeah, definitely on the second house we bought, the starter. Not so much the starter home.
So that's most people's families' number one criteria is what's the school rating.
Yeah.
So when you're gonna spend a lot of money, like when I'm flipping in the hood, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is. But out here, if we're in a really good school district, that's gonna make a difference. All right, guys, let's wrap it up. So make sure you subscribe, obviously. Make sure you hit a like button. What do you guys think about this property? Would you buy it? What would you do? Where'd you put? You've seen all this stuff. What would you do? I'm confused. What would you do, Joe? Alex, you got any ideas? So if you don't know what to do, you bring in other experts. That's what we're gonna do. So make sure you subscribe, because check out us on the next video and we'll show you when we come back out here with our architects, our plumbers and all that. We'll check you in the next one. Peace.